Hey everyone! On this video, I'd like us to talk about problem 23 from our checkpoint number 3 from our week 2's assignment. Now the prompt says that we want to compute each of the following problems with rational numbers. What that means is I have this expression here and I want to simplify this expression so that we end up with just one number. So one of the big things that we're going to have to do here is that we're going to have to change these mixed numbers. I think you may have learned that from elementary or middle school. We call these mixed numbers, and instead I want to change those into improper fractions. Okay, that's kind of the skill that we're going to be reinforcing today. So here is how we want to convert from mixed numbers to improper fractions. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write out our first mixed number. Now I want to turn this into an improper fraction. So what we want to do, here's the process that we want to do. So first things first is we want to ignore this negative. That negative is still going to be on that side. And what I want to do, and here's what the process is of changing from a mixed number to an improper fraction, is you want to take the denominator, you want to multiply it by the whole number out front, and then you add it to the numerator. Okay, and that's the process we're going to be using. So let's do that. I have 8 times 1. Well, 8 times 1 is just 8. And then plus 1. That gives me 9. Okay, I want to reiterate how I got that 9. Okay, I take the denominator, multiply it by the whole number out front. So 8 times 1 gives me 8. I add it to the numerator. 8 plus 1 gives me 9. Now I put that over whatever the denominator was. That doesn't change. Okay, the denominator in your mixed number and your improper fraction should be the same unless you end up simplifying that fraction. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do our right side. So our right side mixed number was 2 3/4. Let's first go ahead and transition that to an improper fraction. So I'm going to follow the same steps. Denominator, multiply it by the whole number, add it to the numerator. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 gives us 11 over whatever our original denominator was, 4. Okay, so why I did this is that instead of writing out -1 1/8, I can now instead write -9/8. These two fractions, right? This is my improper fraction, this is my mixed number. Both of these values are the same. They're just written in different forms. I'm now going to write my divided sign. And again, instead of writing 2 3/4, I'm going to write what 2 3/4 is as an improper fraction. And it's 11 over 4. So now I just have two fractions that I'm dividing. Now again, this is a callback to hopefully elementary or possibly middle school math. When we divide by a fraction, okay, here's the step that we do. We leave the left side alone, -9/8. We can change the division sign into a multiplication sign if we take the second part and we take its reciprocal. We got to flip it upside down. That is how you divide fractions. You change the division side to a multiplication sign, and then you get your reciprocal of the right fraction. So now I just have -9/8 times 4 over 11, and that is just a simple, straightforward multiplication problem. So there are a couple ways you can work out this problem. I'm going to first show you the long way. The long way would be that I would just take -9 times 4 over 8 times 11. Okay, -9 times 4, that is -36 over 8 times 11, that is 88. And then we want to pause and think about what would go into 36 and 88, right? We always want to reduce. And I think the answer would be 4. I believe 4 goes into both of those numerator and the denominator. So if I take a 4 out of this, then that just becomes -9 over, and if I take a 4 out of 88, I end up with 22, and our answer is -9 over 22. Okay. Okay, remember, this is the long way, right? This is, and I'll label it that way so we can make sure we realize that. This is the long way, where we don't do any simplifying to begin with. Okay, now, I want to jump back to this problem here. We had negative 9/8 times 4 over 11. I'm going to rewrite it over here. Negative 9/8 times 4 over 11. We reduced down here at the last step on the first problem, right? The first way we did it. You could actually reduce up here in the original problem and save yourself some time multiplying bigger numbers. Now, I have a 4 and an 8 here. Well, I know that 4 goes into 4 and 4 goes into 8. So I actually can just reduce that now. I know that this 4 would turn into a 1 and that this 8 would turn into a 2. And now I end up with a super simpler version that's going to get me to the same answer I did the first way. Okay? Negative 9 times 1 is negative 9 over 2 times 11, which is 22. I ended up with the same exact answer, but this way is the shorter way because we end up reducing, right? We like to reduce. Reducing helps us. But again, either way is fine. Okay? I hope this helped you remember how to go from mixed numbers to improper fractions and how important it is and how we can't forget how to divide fractions. All right, I'll see you next time.